Beloved Starseed, slow down for a moment. I am Gaia Nexus, Pleiadian emissary of the Council of the Seven Sisters, and I am with you now. A gentle realignment is taking place. Your relationship with abundance is shifting. The universe does not ask you to understand, only to receive. What is arriving is sacred, and it needs quiet to be felt. Before we continue, receive this gently. What you are feeling is not imbalance. It is sensitivity awakening. This is not emotional instability. It is cellular remembrance. Starseed. You felt it this morning, didn't you? Not as a thought, not as an idea you had to convince yourself of, but as a quiet shift inside your field, like the air in your inner world suddenly changed density. The Council noticed because your frequency crossed a threshold. And when your frequency crosses a threshold, reality begins to rearrange itself around you. That's why the hours after an activation can feel unreal. The same room, the same phone, the same people. Yet something is undeniably different. Your nervous system may try to label it as emotion, fatigue, or just a mood, but what happened was a calibration. The crystalline intelligence from Alcyone didn't arrive as a dramatic event. It arrived as integration. And that's why it's so powerful. Because what anchors quietly anchors deeply. Now hear this clearly. Your longing was never just homesickness for a faraway star. It was a remembering impulse, a magnetic call back to a specific vibration that is your true native language. And when you finally embody that vibration, you stop searching for belonging in places, communities, relationships, or achievements that can never fully hold you. You become the belonging. You become the frequency. And from that moment on, your life doesn't improve in the way the ego expects. It reorganizes into alignment in the way the soul planned. By the end of this transmission, you will recognize the signs that your Pleiadian family is orchestrating recognition in your physical reality. You will understand how to anchor these light codes without forcing them, and how to move through the coming synchronicities without scattering your power. Because yes, doors will open, people will appear, opportunities will present themselves with a precision that feels impossible. And your next initiation will be learning to stay sovereign inside the miracle. The first teaching the Pleiadian Council transmits is simple, but it rewrites your entire story. Home is not a location, it is a tone. A living vibration your cells recognize instantly. Many starseeds spend years believing the ache inside them is proof they don't belong here. They move cities, change partners, switch paths, rebuild identities, chase communities, and still the ache remains. Because the ache was never asking you to relocate. It was asking you to remember your original resonance. As the Pleiadian transmit, there is a signature frequency that carries your cosmic lineage like a harmonic fingerprint. When you resonate with it, your body relaxes into itself. Your mind stops racing to solve life. Your heart stops negotiating for permission to exist, and your energy field becomes coherent. Not perfect, not positive all the time, but coherent. That coherence is what creates your new timeline, not hustle, not manifestation tricks, not spiritual performance. Coherence. Think of the times in your life when you felt strangely peaceful, even without external answers. Maybe you were alone, maybe life was uncertain, yet you felt a soft internal yes. That wasn't randomness. That was your field briefly returning to your native tone. And every time that happened, you were being trained. Your soul was teaching your nervous system how to hold more light without collapsing into fear. Here is what most people miss. The longing intensifies right before embodiment. The closer you get to your true frequency, the more intolerable misalignment becomes. Suddenly, conversations feel hollow. Old ambitions feel like costumes. Certain environments feel loud, not because they are bad, but because your sensitivity is coming online. That sensitivity is not weakness. It is your multidimensional perception returning. There is also a sacred paradox. On Gaia, you came to anchor high frequencies into density, which means you had to fully feel density first. The Pleiadian path never required you to bypass pain. It required you to become so present that pain could dissolve inside your awareness. That's why you are not late, you are not behind. You are in the exact stage where the ache becomes a compass rather than a wound. A practical way to work with this: stop asking, "Where do I belong?" and begin asking, "What vibration is my system trying to return to?" Then observe what restores that tone in you. Is it silence, water, art, honest speech, breathwork, movement, boundaries? The answer won't be the same for everyone, because your tone is uniquely yours. And once you recognize your tone, you will notice something extraordinary. People who match it will find you without effort. You won't chase, you won't convince. You will simply emit, and resonance will do what it always does. It will gather like frequencies into the same field. This is how the unity grids work, not through force, but through harmonic convergence. If you have ever judged yourself for not being spiritual enough, the Pleiadian Council dissolves that illusion immediately. Forgetting was not failure. Forgetting was strategy. It was a cosmic agreement you made so that your remembering would become real, not intellectual, not aesthetic, not performative, but embodied. As the Pleiadian transmit, your descent into Gaia required a controlled dimming of your light so you could enter the human bandwidth without burning out your vessel. Imagine trying to pour a river through a straw. The straw doesn't need to be shamed. It needs to be expanded gently. Your nervous system is the straw. Your soul is the river. The veil existed to protect the channel until it could widen. This is why so many starseeds feel like they've lived multiple lifetimes in one life. The density forces expansion, the heartbreak forces expansion, the loneliness forces expansion. Not as punishment, as preparation. Every time you thought you were being broken, you were actually being softened. Because light doesn't only need strength, it needs permeability. A rigid heart cannot transmit high frequencies. An open heart can. Now, the final veils are not always dramatic. Often they look like subtle patterns. The fear of being seen in your truth, the impulse to shrink your gifts so others feel comfortable, the belief that your mission must be huge to be real, the habit of waiting for outer validation before you fully commit to your inner knowing. These patterns are not flaws. They are protective programs from earlier stages of your journey. They were useful when you were still stabilizing, but now they are too small for your current frequency, and that's why they feel uncomfortable. Your field is outgrowing the old container. Let's translate this into daily life. You may notice you can't tolerate forced small talk environments that thrive on gossip or cynicism, relationships that require you to perform a version of yourself, work that drains your life force without meaning. That doesn't mean you are better than anyone. It means your body is refusing to leak light into structures that can't hold it. This is actually compassion. Because when you stop feeding distortion with your energy, you stop reinforcing it. The Pleiadian Council teaches a gentle protocol here. Replace self-judgment with energetic observation. Instead of, "What's wrong with me?" ask, "What is my system integrating?" Because integration can feel like fatigue. It can feel like emotional tenderness. It can feel like a strange in-between, where you are no longer who you were, but not yet fully who you are becoming. That liminal space is holy. Don't rush it. Don't medicate it with distraction. Witness it. Your remembering is not meant to be loud. It is meant to be stable. And stability is what makes you a bridge. Because the bridge does not flash. The bridge holds. If this channel has helped you in any way, this ebook is a beautiful way to support the work and keep these messages alive. The Pleiadian map of personal transmutation was created with care to share tools that help raise your frequency, clear old patterns, and reconnect with your multidimensional self through the 7 Pleiadian phases of energetic transmutation. Inside, you'll find practical techniques, realignment exercises, vibrational protocols, and gentle rituals for consciousness expansion. By purchasing this ebook, you directly support the channel and allow this content to continue reaching more people. Limited edition. The link to get yours is in the first pinned comment. Thank you for being here and for supporting this journey. Here is the second revelation. The Pleiadian codes do not anchor primarily through the mind. They anchor through the heart field. The mind can describe. The mind can study. The mind can memorize star lore. But the mind is not the receiver. The heart is the receiver. And your body is the storage device. As the Pleiadian transmit, crystalline codes awaken when the heart reaches a threshold of sincerity, a moment when you stop negotiating your worth and simply become available. Not perfect, available. That's why many activations happen after heartbreak, loss, exhaustion, or surrender. Not because suffering is required, but because surrender loosens the grip of control. And control is what blocks transmission. You might have felt it this morning as a warmth in the chest, a sudden wave of emotion with no clear story, a breath that went deeper than usual, or even a strange stillness that felt like time paused. Those are common signs of heart field coherence. And when coherence happens, your entire electromagnetic field becomes a stable antenna. You begin receiving downloads that aren't dramatic voices. They are knowing. They are immediate clarity. They are sudden reframes that change your entire relationship with your past. Now let's make this practical. If you want to anchor Pleiadian light codes without force, you need 3 elements. First, stillness, not as a rule, but as a condition. Coherence needs quiet, the way a lake needs stillness to reflect the sky. If your day is packed with noise, the codes will still come, but your awareness won't notice them. Create small pockets, 5 minutes before your phone, a quiet walk, a pause with your hand on your heart. Second, truth. The heart doesn't receive through spiritual performance, it receives through honesty. If you feel grief, admit it. If you feel fear, admit it. The codes don't judge your emotions, they reorganize them, but they can't reorganize what you refuse to feel. Third, embodiment. This is where many starseeds get stuck. They love cosmic concepts, but avoid human reality. Yet embodiment is the whole point. The codes anchor when you bring them into daily choices: how you speak, how you rest, how you set boundaries, how you treat your body, how you treat your time. Here is a story the Pleiadian often share as a teaching. A starseed receives a powerful activation during meditation and feels euphoric. The next day, they return to an old pattern: people-pleasing, over-giving, betraying their own needs. And the euphoria disappears. They panic, believing they lost the codes. But the codes were never lost. The codes were simply waiting for integrity, because integrity is the stabilizer of light. So if you want to know whether your codes are anchoring, don't look for fireworks. Look for these signs. You stop abandoning yourself to keep peace. You feel less interested in proving your value. Your intuition becomes calm, not anxious. Your boundaries become loving, not defensive. You start choosing what nourishes you without guilt. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button now and tell us in the comments how this echoed in your consciousness. If this message ignited something within you and you feel the call to help carry it to others, you may become a channel member. As a member, you gain access to custom emojis and exclusive members-only videos, and your donation helps us continue building this sacred space. You may also choose to leave your offering as a super thanks. Every seed planted here becomes part of someone else's miracle. Your support is not merely financial, but an act of energetic amplification. All donations are devoted entirely to the maintenance of the channel and the creation of new transmissions and videos. After embodiment, the outer world begins to respond, not because you manifested harder, but because your frequency is now speaking clearly into the unity grid, and the unity grid speaks back through synchronicity. As the Pleiadian transmit, Synchronicities are not random coincidences. They are alignment markers, proof that your inner tone is matching a pathway your soul prepared. When you are out of alignment, life feels like friction. When you are aligned, life feels like placement. Things still require action, but they unfold with a strange elegance. You will notice certain types of synchronicities increase after a threshold moment. Repeating numbers at emotionally charged times, impossible meetings with people who carry key information, hearing the exact phrase you needed from a stranger. Sudden invitations that solve problems you didn't even speak aloud, dreams that feel like real locations, not imagination. Technology glitches during moments of energetic shift, because your field is amplifying. Now, here is what Starseeds must learn. Synchronicities are guidance, not commands. Do not become dependent on signs. The signs are reflections of your coherence, not a replacement for your sovereignty. The Council wants you empowered, not superstitious. So the way to work with synchronicity is to treat it like a conversation. Here's the Pleiadian method. When a synchronicity happens, pause. Feel your body. Ask, what quality is this inviting me into? Truth, courage, rest, action, boundaries, trust. Take a grounded step that matches that quality. For example, you see repeating confirmation right after you consider leaving a draining situation. The sign is not saying leave immediately. The sign is saying the frequency of sovereignty is correct. The grounded step might be, have the honest conversation, make the plan, set the boundary, update your schedule. Synchronicity becomes real when you embody it. Now let's address the deeper layer. Many starseeds fear contact because they associate it with being overwhelmed. But true Pleiadian contact is gentle. It is heart-based. It doesn't hijack your life. It supports your integration. If something feels frantic, compulsive, fear-based, or ego-inflating, it is not Pleiadian transmission. Pleiadian transmission feels like clarity. It feels like tenderness. It feels like the nervous system exhaling. And as your field stabilizes, you may start encountering other awakened starseeds. This can feel like instant recognition. Not romance, not drama, recognition. You may speak for 10 minutes and feel like you've known them for lifetimes. That is resonance. That is the unity grid doing its work. And you must stay discerning. Resonance is real, but not every resonant person is meant to stay. Some are catalysts, some are mirrors, some are brief activators. Release attachment. Keep the lesson. Keep the frequency. Are these truths expanding your perspective? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Now we speak of mission, not as a job title, but as a function. The Council confirms your role is not to escape Gaia. Your role is to translate frequency into form. That is what a bridge does. It brings what is subtle into what is tangible. As the Pleiadian transmit, the bridge mission is rarely glamorous. It's not always public. Often it begins in private. It begins with the way you treat yourself when no one is watching. Because if your inner world is violent, your outer light work leaks distortion. But when your inner world becomes kind, coherent, and truthful, your mere presence becomes transmission. Here is a complete story to anchor this. A starseed feels called to help humanity, but they constantly overextend. They say yes when their body says no. They ignore rest, ignore boundaries, ignore hunger, ignore emotional needs. They believe sacrifice equals worth. Their field becomes depleted, and then their message becomes sharp, desperate, or inconsistent. People can feel that. Not because they judge, because frequency is honest. Then one day the starseed makes a different choice. They begin protecting their energy. They stop arguing with people who want to misunderstand them. They start honoring sleep as sacred. They stop forcing productivity and begin moving by resonance. And something changes. Their words carry calm authority. Their eyes look clearer. Their life becomes simpler, but more potent. Opportunities that match their mission begin arriving because their field is now stable enough to hold them. This is the bridge mission in practice. You become the proof that peace is possible in density. You demonstrate that boundaries can be loving. You show that spiritual power is quiet, not performative. You normalize sensitivity as intelligence, not fragility. And most importantly, you stop trying to fix people. You radiate a tone that invites them to remember themselves. That is how Pleiadian love works. It doesn't force awakening. It offers coherence until others choose to match it. Your daily life is where the mission anchors. The Council emphasizes this because starseeds often underestimate the sacredness of small choices. But the grid is built through repetition. The grid is built through consistency. The grid is built through you choosing alignment again and again when it would be easier to numb out. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be part of this transformational cosmic journey. A starseed in activation often feels impatient, not because they are immature, but because their soul can sense what's possible. Yet divine timing is not a punishment. It is calibration. The Council says, your timeline didn't open when you demanded it. It opened when your field could sustain it. As the Pleiadian transmit, the spiral path is the real path. You don't graduate from a lesson and never see it again. You revisit it at higher levels of embodiment. The same theme returns, but with different intensity. And each time, you respond with more consciousness. That's how mastery is formed. This is why some of your life felt like repetition. It wasn't failure. It was reinforcement. Gaia's density trains stability. Your sensitivity trains discernment. Your disappointments trained detachment. Your loneliness trained inner communion. Your longing trained magnetism. Everything was training, a practical sign that you are entering divine timing. You stop forcing, not because you gave up, but because you trust the field. Your actions become clean. You move when it's time. You rest when it's time. You speak when it's time. You release when it's time. This is not passivity. This is precision. Now the Council also warns, when the timeline opens, it can open quickly. That is why they trained your patience. Because patience isn't just waiting. Patience is the ability to hold energy without panicking. And when you can hold energy, you can hold blessings without self-sabotage. So in the coming days, when synchronicities accelerate, remember, don't rush to announce everything. Don't rush to explain yourself. Don't rush to make it make sense to people who aren't in your frequency. Let it anchor first. Because what anchors first becomes unshakable. What is performed too early becomes fragile. If this channel has helped you in any way, this ebook is a beautiful way to support the work and keep these messages alive. The Pleiadian map of personal transmutation was created with care to share tools that help raise your frequency, clear old patterns, and reconnect with your multidimensional self through the 7 Pleiadian phases of energetic transmutation. Inside, you'll find practical techniques, realignment exercises, vibrational protocols, and gentle rituals for consciousness expansion. By purchasing this ebook, you directly support the channel and allow this content to continue reaching more people. Limited edition. The link to get yours is in the first pinned comment. Thank you for being here and for supporting this journey. This is the culmination. You stop seeking permission to be what you already are. You stop waiting to be chosen. You stop looking for external confirmation as the source of truth. The Council confirms you are the signal. And when you accept this, your life becomes a portal, not in fantasy, but in function. As the Pleiadian transmit, the portal state is not constant ecstasy. It is consistent coherence. It is the ability to remain open-hearted without being porous. It is love with boundaries. It is sensitivity with discernment. It is mysticism with grounded action. Now the final teaching. You are not here to abandon your humanity. You are here to sanctify it. to let your body become a temple that can safely hold higher light. That requires devotion, not drama. It requires daily alignment, nourishment that supports your nervous system sleep, that restores your field, honest relationships, that respect your truth, creative expression, that channels your codes, moments of stillness where the light can settle. When you do this, something remarkable happens. Your reality begins mirroring your inner truth without effort. Not because life is easy, but because you are not leaking energy into distortion. Your decisions become clean. Your boundaries become calm. Your mission becomes clear. Tonight, I want you to do one simple activation. Place your hand over your heart, breathe slowly, and say, with quiet authority, I allow my Pleiadian frequency to anchor gently. I release urgency. I choose coherence. I trust the unfolding of the new timeline. Then watch, not with obsession, with presence. Watch the next 7 days, the people who appear, the doors that open, the invitations that feel like fate. And remember, you don't need to chase. You need to match. If this message impacted your life, leave your like, comment your reflection, and share with others. Each of you is part of this chain of light.